Hare Krishna. So we welcome everyone for today's morning program. Be a sadhaka. Be a sadhaka. So we are on teachings of Lord Chaitanya, the golden avatar. So we'll begin the discussion. Let's offer prayers together. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesh Shunyavadi Vashatai Shatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Bhaktivedanta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gauranga Vrinda
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Shri Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Shri Advaita Chandra Jaya Gauranga Vrinda
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Shri Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Shri Advaita Chandra Jaya Gauranga Vrinda
Hare Krishna. So welcome all. We are on the chapter 1 of Teachings of Lord Chaitanya, where I'll give you the summary of the discussion that happened between Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Rupa Goswami, and then we'll read it. So that, if it is case, it becomes a little complicated, you're able to understand that. So there are 9 or 10 teachings which are mentioned in this particular chapter, which Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught to Rupa Goswami. So let's begin with how this whole chapter goes like. So the chapter begins what we have already discussed. How do I hold all this thing? Okay. ठीक है क्या? No, that's okay. Okay. No, because I need to hold the screen. That's okay. Fine. So first part of the purport, if you want to call it, is described about, I don't need to write it as simple. It's describing about the meeting between Rupa Goswami and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Rupa and Vallabha had ran away from Nawab Hussain Shah's rulership, and they reached Prayagraj, where they got to meet Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed Rupa Goswami at the Shashvamedh Ghat. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was actually on the way to visit Bindu Madhav. How many of you had gone with us to Varanasi? Right? Bindu Madhav was at Varanasi or Prayagraj? Allahabad hai na? Prayagraj mein hai. We saw that when we visited? Probably not. देखा था बिंदु माधव? And what is the deity in the Varanasi? Bindu? Varanasi, I don't know. Varanasi, there's a deity of some Bindu Madhav, something like that only. At the तुम दोनों अलग अलग बोल रहे हो. चुप बैठो तुम लोग. Let me focus here. तुम लोग का विकिपीडिया नॉलेज निकल रहा है अभी बार. All right. ठीक है, we'll check it out. Anyways, so he was on the way to visit Bindu Madhav. That's the time they met. And for 10 days, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed Rupa Goswami. Let's talk about what are the 10 instructions which are mentioned in this chapter. Very first instruction that Srila Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave to Rupa Goswami, which we already read, was describing what the science of devotional service that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu compares with ocean. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, the science of bhakti is so vast and so unlimited, it's very difficult for me. It would be almost impossible for me to tell you everything. Let me try to at least acquaint you with the one drop of the ocean. You can call science of devotion service or the nature of devotion service. It's so vast like that. That was the first point which was mentioned. Haribo. Yeah. Please watch it from online then. We can close the door. I would need some attention here now. Then second point that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu discussed, which we discussed last time also, is about the unlimited living entities. You can call them entities or jivas. And this is where somewhere we do that, right? Yeah. This is what we discussed last time. Unlimited living entities. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, well, there are two kinds of jivas, Nitya Mukta and Nitya Baddha. Nitya Baddha are conditioned living entities. We talked about what condition means when Prabhupada said conditioned living entity. Can we close the doors for a second? What does conditioned living entity means? When Brahmaji was under the process of secondary creation, then he had set some conditions for this world. And the conditions like death, fear, anxiety, like this was conditions I mentioned in the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. In this conditioned living entity, there are two varieties, moving and non-moving. Non-moving is the trees. Movings, there are three kinds of living entities. One which lives in sky, other lives in water, and third lives on land. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says these all are unlimited. Those who live on land, there are two kinds of, there is the one species that lives on land, one of the species among that is human beings. Human beings are of two kinds. One, animalistic, second, civilized human race. Animalistic human being in Kali Yuga is 99.9%. Civilized human race is very limited. That is called as Aryans. That civilized human being is the one which follows scriptures and other which just have some morality and standards. You can call other religious practices. Then again, that also 1%, 99%. Those who follow scriptures, there are two categories who follow scriptures for the righteous cause and one who follows for the own selfish agenda. We gave an example of Hiranyakashipu, etc. They were also very learned in that. So righteous means it begins with karma kandis. Dharma, artha, karma, kama, moksha, purushartha. In that karma kandis, there are only few who qualify themselves or mature themselves to the stage of jnanis. And among jnanis, there are only very few who get moksha. Among those who get mokshas, also there are two categories. Among hundreds and thousands, unlimited of those, not unlimited, 100,000 those who finally attain the stage of moksha, Bhavanam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Ma Prapadate. 99% of them merges into Brahman. Only 1% of them, very rarely, they know about Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the rarity of Krishna conscious devotees. This was our discussion until last time. Only very few know of it. Fine. One person, one go like this. All right, let's go back to our lessons, teachings here. So this is what we discussed. Now we'll continue forward. But let me again write down all the things that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught to Rupa Goswami. So we are kind of familiar with the subject matter. Third, what we're going to read now is the process of devotional service. This is the subject matter of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. We'll take a look at it, what it means, process of devotional service. Now, the process of devotional service, here Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu going to give that famous example of gardener, where you sow a seed, and when you sow a seed, you have to water the seed. What is that watering the seed compared to? That is hearing and chanting. And the seed, when it fructifies, it has two dangers. One is from animals, that is offenses. Another is from weeds, that is from material desires. Bhukti Mukti Siddhikami Sakala Shanta. That's the point here. Okay? So that will be described. This is subject matter of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Then the fourth thing which is described here, the thing which was taught by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was stages of bliss. Transcendental ecstasy. That is the fourth thing. Then fifth topic which Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught Rupa Goswami, at least which is mentioned here in this chapter, is nature of pure devotees. Sixth point, or sixth lesson which Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught was stages of bhakti. Vaidhi sadhana bhakti, raganuga sadhana bhakti, all that is described here. Then seventh is the ecstasy of transcendental love. What is ecstasy? Nature of ecstasy, you can say. Or the quality of ecstasy. This is visible to online devotees, right? Whiteboard. Eighth subject matter is transcendental rasa. Mellows. Shanta, Dasya, Vasalya, Sakhya, Vasalya, Madhurya, and the seven secondary rasas. Again, subject matter of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Ninth is attachment to Krishna, the categories of attachment to Krishna. There are two categories of attachment to Krishna. And the 10th subject matter here is, these all in itself are big subject matter. Finally, this chapter concludes with instruction to Rupa Goswami in terms of what to do. Where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Rupa Goswami to write Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Therefore, most of the above subject or all of the above subject you'll find in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. In case if you have read Nectar Devotion, you'll find it very easy to go through the subject matter. If not, at least let's read it. As time permits, we'll try to discuss and speak about it. If not, we'll just go through with it. At least this is an advanced subject matter. At least we are somewhat familiar with it in terms of the philosophy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All right. So, okay. So let's begin with our reading. We have discussed point number 1. We have discussed point number 2. Now we're going to start with process of devotional service. Okay. So maybe let's see if we can cover 3, 4, 5 today, and then we'll take it forward. I'll close this. This is not needed anymore. And screen sharing is enabled. Fine. So I'm reading, Mother Medhavni, if you want to share a screen. There is a verse called Muktanam Abhisiddhanam Narayana Parayana Sudalla Prashanta Kotisha Api Mahamani, which talks about how rare is devotional life or how rare is a bhakta. So after that, next paragraph, we'll begin speaking about it. Where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is briefly speaking about nature of Vaishnavas. Vaishnavas, the devotees, are usually very compassionate upon conditioned souls. Without even being invited, the devotee will go from door to door to enlighten people and to bring them out of the darkness of nescience by injecting knowledge of the living entity's constitutional position as a servant of Lord Krishna. Such devotees are empowered by the Lord to distribute devotional consciousness or Krishna consciousness to the people in general. They are known as authorized spiritual masters, and it is by their mercy that a conditioned soul gets the seed of devotional service. The causeless mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is first appreciated when one comes in touch with a bona fide spiritual master who can bring the conditioned soul to the highest position of devotional life. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya said that by the mercy of the spiritual master, one can achieve the causeless mercy of the Lord. Yasya prasada bhagavad prasadam. And by the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one can attain the mercy of the bona fide spiritual master. Is here a relationship of interdependency? Very interesting way Krishna has created a system. There is only one Swarat at all times. That is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For the rest of us, at all times, we are dependent. Even mercy is interdependent. If you want to get mercy of Guru, you have to receive first mercy of Krishna. And if you want to get mercy of Krishna, you have to get mercy first of Guru. So you cannot leave anyone. At no point in time you can say, "Bas, ho gaya abhi, Guru seva bahut ho gayi. Abhi hum Prabhu ki seva karenge keval." It doesn't work like this. All right, now let's begin with the third topic, the third teaching. What is the process of devotional service? And here comes a beautiful example of a gardener. So, example is Brahmane Brahmete Kone Bhagyavan Jiva Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Beach. Our heart is compared to a soil where Guru, by the mercy of the Guru, we get the seed of devotional service. We sow the seed of devotional service in our heart. And then, just like if anyone has ever done a gardening, so Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving that example of how to value the seed and how to sow the seed and how to care for the seed. So when you sow the seed, now for the sow to fructify, it takes time. And until that point of time, before it can produce fruits, even after it produces fruit, you still have to continue doing something. What is that? Watering the plant, watering the seed. So what is that? This is something which has to consistently happen. What is that watering to the seed of devotional life? That is hearing and chanting Shravanam and Kirtanam. Through that, you water the seed of bhakti and gradually the seed fructifies. So just imagine you are in a garden, you have sowed a seed and that seed fructifies into a plant. Then there are two kinds of dangers to that plant. One is you might have seen, the crows, if in case you are on the high-rise building, the crows can come and eat the leaves, or the parrots can come and eat the leaves on the ground. The plant can be attacked by the dog or the cows or the buffalo, anyone like this. So you have a danger to this plant of bhakti from these animals. And this is compared by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to aparad, 10 offenses. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells Rupa Goswami what are the 10 offenses. And among the 10 offenses, the greatest offense is, aparad is Vaishnava aparad, like this. So that's the first thing. Second thing, let's say you've created a fence around the plant, so now the animals cannot attack it. Now there is another problem that happens when you're watering the seed or watering the plant. And what a beautiful example Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives is exactly what is happening with our heart. So let's say you're able to protect yourself from aparad, Vaishnava aparad, of the 10 offenses, but yet there is another danger. And the danger is when you water the seed of your bhakti, Lata Beej, along with that, the weeds also grow. What are the weeds refers to? Yeah, unwanted desire. What is one of the greatest unwanted desire? What is one of the greatest unwanted desire? Fame, okay? Bhukti, mukti, siddhi, kami. Fame is bhukti, then mukti and siddhi. These desires manifest. So at the beginning stages, it could be fame, acknowledgement, recognition. Then there's a desire for mukti. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, just like an expert gardener knows what is the right plant and what is a weed, although the weed and the right plant looks almost more or less similar. And just like an expert gardener uproots the weed and protects the plant, similarly, we have to become expert in our devotional life to make sure we separate the weed from the actual plant of bhakti. And like that, if we do it, then eventually one day it will produce the fruit of bhakti, which then will be offered to our Guru, and Guru will offer the lotus feet of Krishna. This is the process of bhakti. We all need to become an expert gardener. So I guess it's worthy that we do some gardening actually. We'll have a practical experience of it, then we'll become more conscious how we should be careful of aparadha and weeds. All right, let's take a look at it. I've given you the whole synopsis of it. Thus, by the mercy of the spiritual master and Krishna, one receives the seed of devotional service. He has only to sow the seed in the field of his heart. just as a gardener sows the seed of a valuable tree. After sowing the seed, one has to water it in the form of chanting and hearing the holy name of the Supreme Lord, or by taking part in discussion about the science of devotion service in a society of pure devotees. When the plant of devotion service sprouts up from the seed of devotion, it begins to grow freely. When it is full grown, it surprises the length and breadth of this universe and enters into the transcendental atmosphere. Everything is bathed in the effulgence of Brahma Jyoti. The plant even penetrates this Brahma Jyoti and gradually enters a planet known as Goloka Vrindavan. There, the plant takes shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna. That is the ultimate goal of devotional service. After attaining this position, the plant produces fruit, which is known as the fruit of love of Godhead. To pour water on the plant daily, okay, missed it. After attaining this position, the plant produces fruit, which is known as the fruit of love of Godhead. However, it is necessary for the devotees, the transcendental gardener, to pour water on the plant daily by chanting and hearing. How often? Daily. Whenever there is a chanting, you would always see Prabhupada speak about chanting and hearing. You alone cannot have chanting if you're not hearing. It's somehow so sad, or maybe as a leaders, it is not emphasized, or maybe I don't know what happens. Lastly, with congregation, they definitely do the quote of chanting 16 hours, but hearing is missed out greatly. Hearing is greatly missed out. Why we do chanting 16 hours, even if it is 11 o'clock in the night, we'll still chant over 16 hours. I finish off thinking that because I've taken a vow. That's a prerequisite to take Diksha, or maybe after Diksha, I've taken a vow to have to follow. But your quality of chanting entirely proportional to quality of hearing. What am I hearing on day-to-day basis? This is subject matter. Are we hearing, first of all, that unless one waters a plant by chanting and hearing, there is every chance that it will dry up. Next paragraph. Lord Chaitanya pointed to Rupa Goswami that there was a certain danger to be encountered while watering the root of devotional plant. Now the dangers are being described. After the plant has grown some bit, an animal may come, either eat or destroy it. When green leaves of a plant are taken by some animal, the plant generally dies. The most dangerous animal is considered a mad elephant. For if a mad elephant enters into a garden, it causes tremendous damage to plants and trees. An offense to a pure devotee of the Lord is called Vaishnava Prad, the mad elephant offense. In the discharge devotion service, an offense to the feet of a pure devotee can create havoc. Thus, one has to defend the plant by bhakti, by tending it properly and taking care not to commit aparadh. If one is conscious or one is cautious, the plant can properly thrive. Now, next Prabhupada talks about these 10 offenses. Somebody would like to read from here? Signed in? Go ahead.
There are 10 principal offenses which can be committed against the holy name.
Online? Chalo.
The first is to blaspheme the great devotees who have tried to spread the glories of the holy name throughout the world. The holy name of Krishna is non-different from Krishna, and one who attempts to spread the holy name throughout the world is beloved of him. Krishna himself does not tolerate offenses against his pure devotees. The second offense is to deny that Lord Vishnu is the absolute truth. There is no difference
Hare
between...
Krishna. Can we increase the volume from our system? They're saying audio is low. दिवांगन का है नहीं मैं जब बोल रहा था तो कमेंट आया था ठीक है कंटिन्यू you can check what
there is no difference between his name, quality, form, pastimes and activities, and one who sees a difference is considered an offender. The Lord is supreme and no one is equal to or greater than him. Consequently, if one thinks that the Lord's names are non-different from the names of demigods, he offends. The Supreme Lord and the demigod should never be considered on the same level.
Thank you. Somebody else can read the next paragraph. The third offense.
The third offense is to consider the bona fide spiritual master to be a common man. The fourth offense.
Keep it close.
The third offense is to consider the bona fide spiritual master to be a common man. The fourth offense is to blaspheme the Vedic literature and authorized scriptures like the Puranas. The fifth offense is to consider the glories attributed to the holy names to be exaggerations.
Exaggeration.
The sixth offense is to concoct perverted theories about the holy name. The seventh offense is to commit the sinful activities on the strength of chanting the holy name. It is understood that by chanting the holy names, one is free from the sinful reactions. But this does not mean that one should act sinfully on the strength of chanting. That is the greatest offense. The eighth offense is to consider the religious rituals, austerity, sacrifices, or other forms of the renunciation are equal to the chanting the holy name. Chanting the holy name is good as associating with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Pious activities are only means to approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and they can even be performed for some material reason. The ninth offense is to preach the glories of the holy name of the Lord to a faithless person who is not interested in hearing them. And the tenth and last offense is to maintain material attachment even after hearing and chanting the holy names of the Lord. The idea is that by chanting the holy name without offense, one can obtain elevation to the liberated platform. On the liberated platform, one is freed from all material attachment. Thus, if one chants the holy name of holy names and still has material attachments, he must be committing some offense.
Right. Thus, if in a chants the holy name and still has meta attachments, he must be committing. Please highlight this. So, do we have or are we committing any aparad? Yes or no? Yes or no? I mean, if you know you have material desires, then you're committing aparad. अबे हंस के रोना चाहिए तुम लोगों को जितने हंस रहे हो तो बहुत खुशी की बात है So anyways, I'm just joking here. So the point is, again, I've been lately speaking on the subject of process. It's a process. If you're not committing aparad, so what it says, the result is you will not have any more material desires. Because we are committing some aparad, Vaishnava aparad, not among the 10 offenses, and their material desires. So one which is very common among all of us, the offense that we commit is to be inattentive while chanting. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that is a root cause of all other offenses. And somehow, I don't know, we have to strive and struggle, pray to the Lordship, pray to one spiritual master, pray to the Vaishnavas, and pray to Harinam Prabhu that we may develop some taste and seriousness in chanting the holy names of the Lord. So often it happens the moment we put our hands. Have you seen? The best sleeping time is the japa time. बैठे बैठे लोग सो जाते हैं. How many have you seen? It's pretty interesting. Now, if somebody is sleeping once in a while is okay, but regularly, I mean, उसके कान खड़े हो जाने चाहिए. He must be doing some very serious Vaishnava aparadhs, some serious offenses because of which he is struggling like this. Apart from somebody is having a health issues. Health issues like somebody haven't taken proper rest in the night, or maybe somebody couldn't got proper rest in the night because of health issues. That's a different thing. But if you think you slept properly, everything is okay, but you're still feeling sleepy, which means Harinam Prabhu is not at all pleased. We have not attained any mercy of Harinam Prabhu, which means go back and look at the 10 offenses they're doing. This is something which we need to be a little introspective about it. Therefore, it icks me or irritates me when people speak too much about every subject matter while they're unconscious about their own self and what's going on with them. So as a sadhaka, we should become a little introspective and less outspoken. First, look at the things that I need to improve about myself, and then begin about commenting and giving commentary on everything else and others like that. So that's a point about aparadh. Now, the other danger to this plant of bhakti is weeds. All right. There are also other factors which disturb the plant of devotion service. Along with this plant, the weeds of material desires also grow. When a person advances in bhakti, it is natural that many persons will come to him requesting to become disciples and will offer him some material gains. If one is attracted by a large number of disciples and material conveniences offered by these disciples and forgets the duty as a bona fide master, the growth of the plant will be impeded. See, first of all, who can be a guru? Somebody who is very advanced. Even for an advanced Vaishnava, there is a warning given. Do not accept too many disciples. Do not accept too many disciples. I mean, but even at that stage, you can get distracted. So read is something which goes on for a long, long time. I'm just trying to help you understand the gravity of it, how it functions, So what to say for oneself? Simply by taking advantage of material conveniences, one may become addicted to enjoying material comforts. In ISKCON's history, we have had cases. I would not like to name anyone here, but the 80s and 90s was the era when this thing did happen. His Holiness Govind Maharaj speaks about one sannyasi, very, very prominent sannyasi in Europe. Celebrities were his disciples. He was shaking up whole of Europe. So when His Holiness Govind Maharaj post 1985 began to travel, I believe he went to London or somewhere, and then he was given the room of this sannyasi, who was actually regular sannyasi. He had a dedicated room. When Govind Maharaj entered that room, he said, "No, I will not stay here." He said, "This is 5-star hotel. This is not meant for a sadhu. This is not meant for a sannyasi. It's so comfortable." He said everything was so opulent like this. So the reason I'm bringing this example is, it's not that somebody has become a sannyasi, he cannot get distracted. It's not somebody has become a spiritual master, is beyond fall down. It doesn't happen like this. At any point of time, at any stage of life, be a brahmachari, be a grahastha, vanaprastha, sannyasi, at any point of time we can get distracted, any point of time. All right. It is all, I mean, the best way to save ourselves from these kind of things is to regularly read and hear, particularly read Prabhupada books, because Prabhupada will make us humble through his writings like this, because he speaks something which is very practical. While in the case of Acharya's commentaries, they speak much on tattva and rasa. So when you're only reading about rasa and tattva, and not even tattva, much of rasa, then you forget about your ground reality. And when you lose touch with the ground, then there's a matter of time when you crash. So even if we go to the stage of reading Vaishnava commentaries and all that, that should only be like 25% quota of our all reading, which means 75% quota of reading should still be Prabhupada books. And you see many leaders now, they saw and they learn, so they make sure that they read Prabhupada books. Not read once, reread. And particularly in Kartik month, which is starting now at the end of this month, many of them assemble in Vrindavan near Govardhan, and they read for 6 to 8 hours every day. Something which they have read many times before. They have taught disciples, but they still read it. So these are some best practices that we should learn from our seniors and should implement in our life also. It is also considered to be disadvantageous to desire liberation. The only desire should be the desire to render service. Neglect of restrictions and prohibitions is also disadvantageous. The prohibitions are mentioned in the authorized scriptures. What are the prohibitions? No meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, and no illicit sex. These things are forbidden to one who is attempting devotional service. If one does not follow these regulations, there may be a severe disturbance in the discharge of devotional service. Next paragraph. If one is not particularly careful, even by watering the plant devotional service, unnecessary weeds will grow and hamper progress. The idea is that when one waters a garden, not only does the desired plant grow more rapidly, but the unwanted plants grow also. If the gardener does not see these impediments and take them out, they will overcome and choke the plant of devotion. If, however, one is careful to guard against the growth of unwanted plants, the plant of devotion grows luxuriantly and reaches the ultimate goal, Goloka Vrindavan. So, how many of you are scared now? Scared from the fact, yaar, bhakti itni aasan nahi hai. Chant and be happy. Prabhupada ji ne lollipop diya humko. अब लॉलीपॉप दिखाने के बाद अभी बता रहे हैं कितनी मेहनत करनी है. So are you a little scared? So my question to all of you here is, who is an expert gardener here? None of us? And all of us have received the seed of bhakti? We don't know anything about gardening. And we are here trying to nurture the seed of bhakti. What is the probability of our success? Please advise. What do you think would be the probability of success for us? We don't know gardening. Yet we have received seed, not because our qualification caused us mercy of Vaishnavas. Before this subject matter, the nature of Vaishnava was described by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which was just a short matter, therefore I didn't discuss because pure devotees will be discussed later on. I've kept it for that. So we received it out of the cause and mercy of Vaishnava. We got it, we're holding it, and we don't know anything about nurturing it. And there are dangers, severe dangers, the mad elephant danger, then there are weeds. And because weeds grow faster than actual plants, there are high probability fools like us may get attracted to weeds. अरे कितना अच्छा है, कितनी कम मेहनत में खिल गया. And bhakti plant को तो कितना मेहनत करना पड़ा. So my question to all of you here is, what do you think about it? What is the offense statement we say after 10 offenses? No, after that, every devotee claims to Vaishnavas came together in order to quickly achieve the desired success. Mango fruit. Depends on which seed you have sowed. Mango seed, apple seed. So how do we get? I'm just asking, raising an open-ended question here. What do you think about it? What can we do about it? What can we do? How can we do it? So for us to move forward, we need an expert gardener in our life. Therefore, Lord Shri Krishna introduces a system of Guru. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadeshanti. Now the problem here that we often face is that guidance that we get is only through YouTube lectures. How many of us have access to Guru? I'm just trying to help understand what Guru Tattva means. Guru Tattva doesn't mean Guru is somebody who has initiated us. Somewhere, this is how the neophytes look at it. Neophytes look at it, somebody has initiated me, that is only my Guru. That is not the definition of Guru. That would have been the definition of Guru. Why the very first pranamanta we say, Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakya Chakshu Unmilitam Yena Tasmaya Shri Guruve. Why would it say Guruve Namaha? It should say Shri Guru Namaha. So just like for a neophyte, the Lord is in the deity. Similarly, for neophyte, the Guru is only the Guru who has given me Diksha. Nobody is my Guru. हम सुनेंगे तो उनकी सुनेंगे. क्यों सुनेंगे? क्योंकि कुछ कहते ही नहीं कभी. तो उनका सुनना आसान है. In the end of the day, I'll continue to do the damn that I want to do, but I'll not listen to anyone. Why? Because he's on my Guru. I have taken Diksha. This is all neophyte tendencies. Come to the Madhyamadhikari tendency. They don't see with this kind of a dissection. They understand that's my inspiration and I need guidance coming under the leadership, under the, my spiritual master. Now, in our case in ISKCON, the guidance can come from anywhere, and anyone within ISKCON. It does not have to be a God brother. Again, we have created a sect within society. This is my God brother, this is my God sister. This is again a sectarian my point of view. Anyone can serve in the position of Guru, which helps us strengthen our relationship with our Guru. And the Guru is as long as the Guru's instruction and teaching helps us strengthen our relationship with Srila Prabhupada. And what does Srila Prabhupada do? He is there to strengthen our relationship with Krishna. This is Guru Parampara. So we should be careful of this thing. So we should not say that we only have one Guru. No, there could be different individuals, but they all should align to this chain. So whoever we are taking guidance from should strengthen our relationship with our spiritual master. Spiritual master is one who strengthens our relationship with Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada is one who strengthens our relationship with Krishna. So that's what expert gardener. Without an expert gardener, is very difficult. Now, in case of expert gardener also, now you look at this, if you look at the flow of expert gardeners here, so the one who you're taking instruction for gardening may not himself be a self-realized at this point of time, but because he's under another senior gardener, and that senior gardener is eventually under the expert gardener, and with that line chain, you can get the right instruction. Yes or no? That is what Parampara system is. Okay, fine. We'll continue. कहाँ पे थे हम लोग? Which paragraph? Next paragraph? Last paragraph, right? If one is not particularly careful, even watering the plant, devotions and as weeds will grow and hamper progress. The idea is that when water is a garden, or it does such desired plant grow more rapidly, but the unwanted plants grow also. If the gardener does not see these impediments, take them out, They will overcome and choke the plant of devotion. If, however, one is careful to guard against the growth of unwanted plants, the plant of devotion grows luxuriantly and reaches the ultimate goal, Goloka Vrindavan. When the living entity engaged in devotional service relishes the fruit love of Godhead, he forgets all religious ritual and improvements in his economic condition. He no longer desires to satisfy his senses and he no longer desires to become one with the Supreme Lord by merging into his effulgence. I'll read the next paragraph also. Next paragraph concludes the subject matter on the process of devotional service. There are many phases of spiritual knowledge and transcendental bliss. Okay, sorry, this subject matter is over. Now the fourth topic begins. What are the stages of bliss? There are many phases of spiritual knowledge and transcendental bliss. On one platform are the ritualistic sacrifices recommended in the Vedas, the execution of austerities and pious duties, and the practice of mystery cure. These all reward different results to their performer. The rewards of these practices, however, appear to be very glittering as long as one is not elevated to the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Love of God is dormant in everyone and can be awakened from his dormant position by the execution of pure devotional service, just as a person bitten by a serpent can be awakened by ammonia. So what is the stages of bliss? That's the fourth teaching, which is given in the next paragraph. After speaking in this way about devotional service, Sri Chaitanya began to describe devotional service and its symptoms. Rupa Goswami. Hey, wait a second. That's not stages of bliss. Fourth point is the definition of pure devotional service. Anya bilashita ashunyam jnana karma adyanavritam anakulyena krishnanusheelana bhaktir uttama. That is what is being described. Definition of pure devotional service. That's the fourth lesson. He explains that in pure devotional service, there can be no desire other than the desire to advance in Krishna consciousness. In Krishna consciousness, there is no scope for worshipping any devata or even any other form of Krishna. Such exclusivity is there in pure devotional service. Nor is there room for indulgence in speculative empiric philosophy, nor indulgence in fruitive activities. One should be free from all these contaminations. The devotee should accept only those things that are favorable to keep his body and soul together, and should reject those things that increase the demands of the body. Only the bare necessity for bodily maintenance should be accepted. By minimizing bodily necessities, one can primarily devote his time to the cultivation of Krishna consciousness through the chanting of the holy names of God. Pure devotional service means engaging all the senses of the body in the service of the Lord. At the present moment, our senses are all designated because the body is designated. Consequently, we think that this body belongs to a particular society, particular country, particular family. In this way, the body is bound by so many designations. Similarly, the senses belong to the body. And when the body is subject to such designations, the senses are also subjected. Thus, the sense engages themselves on behalf of family, society, nation, and so on. When they're so engaged, they cannot cultivate Krishna consciousness. The senses must be purified, and this is possible when one purely understands he belongs to Krishna and that his life belongs to Krishna. The devotee should see his identity as an eternal servant of Krishna. In this way, one can engage his senses in the service of the Lord. Hare Krishna. Ye kya hua? Yeah. So, going back to our screen. So today we have discussed about the process of devotional service, the concept of gardening, and no, this is not stages of bliss actually. This is definition of pure devotional service. That was the fourth point. Nature of pure devotee. Yeah, that's the fifth point. So that's the next paragraph which talks about it. If you don't mind, can I just take another 2-3 minutes? I'll read out the fifth point also, so at least we have covered some syllabus for today. So just 2 paragraphs which talks about the nature of pure devotee. We'll take that and then we'll close. A pure devotee accepts the transcendental loving service of the Lord, but rejects all kinds of liberation for his personal sense gratification. Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, 29th chapter, verses 11-13. Lord Kapila explains that as soon as a pure devotee hears the glories and transcendent qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is seated in everyone's heart, his mind immediately flows towards the Lord, just as the waters of the Ganges flow towards the sea. Such spontaneous attraction to the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is most important to pure devotional service. Devotional service is pure when one engages in the service of the Supreme Lord without any motive and without being hampered with material impediments. Ahituki apratihata. The pure devotee does not desire to live on the same planet with the Supreme Lord, nor does it desire the same opulence. These are the different kinds of muktis which I mentioned here. Nor does it desire to have the same form as the Lord, nor to live with him side by side, nor to merge sayujya, sarupya, sarishti, samipya. All these are mentioned here. Even if the devotees were offered such rewards of the Lord, he would reject them. Why would he reject them? The point is that a devotee is so much absorbed in the transcendental service of the Lord that he has no time to think of any benefit beyond his immediate engagement. Very profound statement. The point is that devotee is so much absorbed in the transcendental loving service of the Lord that he has no time to think of any benefit beyond his immediate engagement. I just want to make a point. When I read this, something came to my mind. We often ask, what's the next plan? We're too much consumed by this whole planning thing. What's the next plan? What's the thing for the next week? What's the thing for the next 1 month? We should have certain planning, no doubt about it, at the managerial level. But here, the point is that devotee is so much absorbed in the transcendental of the Lord that he has no time to think of any benefit beyond his immediate engagement. I'm not saying this is applicable at our stage, but I'm giving an example. So one devotee asked His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, Maharaj, aapka kal ka plan kya hai? Maharaj said, my only plan is to chant Hare Krishna. No, my only immediate plan that I know of is to chant Hare Krishna. उस भक्त ने उसके बाद से आज तक कभी महाराज से नहीं पूछा आपका कल का प्लान क्या है. So the point is that a devotee is so much absorbed in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, he has no time to think of any benefit beyond his immediate engagement. And what is the best engagement? Is to chant, remember the Lord like this. Just as an ordinary materialistic businessman thinks of nothing else when he's absorbed in his business, a pure devotee, when engaged in the service of the Lord, does not think of anything beyond that engagement. Even as so absorbed in rendering of the service, he can be understood to be elevated to the highest position of bhakti. By such transcendental loving service alone, one can surpass the influence of Maya and relish pure love of Godhead. As long as one desires material benefits or liberation, which are called the two witches of allurement, he cannot relish the taste of transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord. Hare Krishna. So we come to the conclusion of our discussion here today. We read about what is the process of bhakti. Then we read about definition of pure devotional service. Anya abhilashita shunya jnana karma dinavata. Then what is the definition of pure devotee? He doesn't want anything except for the opportunity to serve. After describing this, now when we meet tomorrow morning, we'll discuss about what are the stages of bhakti and nature of ecstasy and other subject matter. So with this, we come to a conclusion of our today's discussion. Tomorrow, we'll start with the next topic, stages of bhakti. Hare Krishna. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Rupa Goswami ki jai. I don't know if I should dare to ask if anyone has any question in this, or maybe just we read and move forward. But nonetheless, किसी का कोई जिज्ञासा? ओके, हमारे जिज्ञासु बोलिए, माइक पे बोलिए, आपकी जिज्ञासा.
When a person becomes advanced, does he still require guru?
When a person becomes advanced, does he still require a guru? How advanced do you want to become that you don't need a guru?
And Prabhupada is beautiful. Does he still require this?
Okay, very interesting question. Prabhupada is a pure devotee. Would he still require a guru? If you look at the writings of Prabhupada, what does he say? The songs that he has written, what does he say? And for what cause does Prabhupada dedicate his life? To follow whose instruction? Guru. Until the end, he was doing that, isn't it? Let's imagine you go beyond this material world, you enter into Vrindavan Leela. Then would you need a guru? Or do you have a guru? Even then, you have a guru. At max, we can take up to the role of Manjari, not gopis. We can become the Manjaris or the Sakhis in that way, where we serve under the guidance of senior gopis. And those senior gopis serve Shri Radha Krishna. And actually, that is also too much I spoke, I guess. Even not that much. Manjari ki dasanu, 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 dasanu. Pata nahi kahan pe line mein khade honge. You know, is always there. Is always there. To serve like this. The only thing is, when you're at the advanced stage, then nobody's going to check your sadhana card. Okay. So when you're in advanced stage, no one will ask you, are you where to 4 regular principles follow kar raha nahi kar raha? When you're advanced stage, there won't be any discussion about are you eating Krishna Prasad. There won't be any discussion rules and regulation. That's precisely. When you're advanced stage, there only would be one thing. What is that? Machchita madgata prana bodhiyantaha parasparam katyantas chamam nityam tushyanti cha amanti. That is what happens at advanced stage. Nothing else. Yes, what else we had? माइक पास करो फटाफट. ये हमारा जो ब्लू रिच का यूथ बैठा है, तुम काहे ब्रह्मन इफल्जेंस में बैठे हुए हो? तुम्हारा कैमरा ऑन करने का फायदा ही क्या है जब तुम दिख ही नहीं रहे हो? Can't you see, guys, that you're not visible? You should align your camera properly. Go ahead.
Prabhuji, it was mentioned that if some the pure devotional service, we have to like only Krishna. We have to
Yes, only Krishna, not even Balaji.
But like we have seen that the Hanumanji is a pure devotee still.
Yes. Oh, that's a different rasana. We're talking about in Gaudiya Parampara, if we talk about, exclusivity, Lord Shri Krishna, devotion to Lord Shri Krishna.
But it is
not that if your devotee Lord Ram is wrong. It's nothing like Anupam was devotee Lord Ram, isn't it? Murari Gupta was devotee Lord Ram. It's not wrong. But what is the definition of your devotional service? Do not distract from here to there. If you're an exclusive devotion Lord Ram, be exclusive devotee of Lord Ram.
Okay.
ऐसा नहीं अभी आज आप नहीं तो कल ये नहीं तो वो, not like that, which is generally the mindset of an individual. Exclusive devotion.
But sometimes like we are not reading that much, or we are not engaged that much, so we don't realize actually where our interest lies or where our actual tendency is there.
Yeah, that takes time to uncover. That takes time. I would say that's a subject matter or level of purity, and it may take time from a year to few years, or maybe few lifetimes, like that. Therefore, while our goal is clear to us, we should also pay attention to the process. Because if we not pay attention to the process, how would we ever reach the goal?
Yes.
And I believe for many of us, the goal even it may not be clear. How much we are conscious that that's the goal. So that's the reason everyday hearing and reading is essential, because it aligns us to the goal that we have set for ourselves. Just like I would say brahmacharis who have volunteered to live a life of a monk, they need to ask themselves again and again, why have you joined brahmachari ashram? To give an example, there are many instances like this. There was a Vyas Puja celebration was going on of His Radhanath Swami Maharaj, and there was some time for Maharaj to come up on stage. Bhakti Rasamrita Maharaj was walking there, and he realized there's nobody on the stage doing kirtan, and devotees are gossiping around. So he saw some brahmachari. He said, Prabhu, why don't you go and start the kirtan? Oh, no, Maharaj, ye problem, Maharaj, wo problem, Maharaj, and he became upset. He said, why have you joined ISKCON if you can't serve? What am I asking you to set a fire to rocket or what? Go into Kirtan. Nahi, Maharaj, hamari ji seva, hamari wo seva hai. You know, this, a brahmachari can have no excuse to service. If he makes excuse to service, then he's an excuse to devotional life. Why have you joined brahmachari life? To render service. So therefore, happens by a service attitude. You are supposed to teach others by an example of a service attitude. मेरी कमर दुख रही है, मेरा सिर दुख रहा है, मेरी आंख दुख रही है, मेरा ये दुख रहा है, वो दुख रहा है, हम ये नहीं कर सकते, वो नहीं कर सकते. What nonsense. ठीक है, fine. अभी तुम्हारी जो स्तर है चेतना का, तो ठीक है, करो जितना कर सकते हो. But for how long? Two things are going to happen. After a few years, you'll become a lazy bum because you never accepted correction. And then you'll sit and eat and grow your belly. And eventually, senses will cause havoc in you and you leave. Or else, you change yourself. You hear attentively, this is not the right thing. And it is very punching to the false ego. It's not easy. It is very punching to the false ego. Then you say, okay, yaar, galti to meri hai, main kyun aaya hu? So again, ask ourselves, why have I come? I have not come to become a monk because अरे यार कितनी मेहनत करके रोटी कपड़ा मकान मिलता था, बिना मेहनत के मिलता है आश्रम में, कितना बढ़िया आश्रम है. Doesn't work like this. It's against Prabhupada's teachings, right? Prabhupada said ashram is not a free hotel, and even if it is, you treat it as a free hotel, you just can't survive it. You cannot waste even a farthing of Krishna's money. Maya Devi will take case of yours very heavily. Very heavily. Impossible. Somebody who has have not used funds and resources of Krishna's properly, and while you're staying in the temple, you're going to get beaten down by Maya Devi. It's a matter of time. Nobody can. We have to be alert to this. We should be conscious what we're doing like that. So apostles should not be missed out. All right, somebody else? Yes, Rishi.
One more question.
Yeah.
So, Prabhuji, you mentioned about the hearing. So
Hearing, yes.
Hearing, like it happens that in our regular life, it is very difficult to like sit and hear while making notes, but it is generally mentioned that everywhere.
So we started recently something called as leadership program, because I noticed that has become a challenge. So we launched it for congregation. I'm also planning to launch it for online forum also. And if need to be, we can plan something here for all of you also. I didn't thought of doing it here because you have an everyday hearing nonetheless, where every week I give them one lecture. And the terms and condition of that program is, there are many terms and conditions, but one term and condition is I've given a whole guidelines how to hear a lecture. They have to hear in that format, and they have to make notes on it, and they have to send it back onto the group. And I read everyone's notes. So, because for everything we need Sangha. If we can create a Sangha where everyone does it like this, so you'll be also inspired to do, because we all have an inherent nature of competition. And try to use that competitive nature now. अरे उसने करा है, मैं पीछे रह जाऊँ, मुझे भी करना चाहिए. And that's how we grow like that. Yeah, somehow it's become very difficult to sit down and hear lecture. I agree. I don't know why, but at least I started this for a handful of selected congregation. I'm thinking to, this is only for local forum. I'm planning to post our GBC meetings that go over. I'm going to launch for online forum also, but it would be only handpicked students, because there it takes too much of my time like that. And for all of you, we can plan it. Okay. And the forum is anyways going on. It doesn't take much for me. I can just share the lecture, you do it, and I can read it, or I can have somebody else read it and do this. We can do that. Fine. What else? Yes, Phil.
In the last reading, like when Rupa Goswami and Anupam met to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu blessed them by touching his feet to them.
Yeah.
So like for us, we can understand, okay, this is the way Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives his blessings. But then for outsiders, that becomes like they will not able to understand, like how we can understand this by touching the feet to the devotee. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving blessings.
So that, I mean, in terms of if an outsider reads it, he might feel awkward about it, right? So we don't do it now. You would not have seen this. And even if this something would have happened in a very private forum. So much so now most of the gurus don't even allow washing of their feet. People have become so envious, you know. So there was one footage of one Babaji, it was on YouTube, where very old Vrindavan Babaji almost 120 year plus old, and people from far off will come, take his blessing. And he was sitting upon a platform, and his feet was dangle outside, and people would come. He's like, they call it, he's chanting always like this, and his feet would be hanging outside. Devotees will come, and someone say, Maharaji, aise bhakt hai. So he'll just little bit move his feet, and the person will come under this and put his head like this. So like we take Guru's slipper and put on our head like this. So सामान्य व्यक्ति को तो समझ नहीं, ना जाने क्या क्या चीजें समझ नहीं आएगी. जिनको ऐसी चीज समझना है ना, उनके मुंह में गुलाब जामुन डालो. जब थोड़ा शुद्धिकरण होगा ना, तभी समझ आएगा. Without purification, cannot understand. Deep rooted, and is deep rooted. Yes, Rishikesh. Are the questions available online, audible online? Is on the mic?
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
Prabhuji, please quote one example on the sixth offense, which is to conquer perverted theories about the holy name. Iska example.
Example, I mean, which means to present the meaning of holy name other than anything which we have received in parampara.
But फिर वो fifth offense में ये तो cover हो जाता है.
Like what?
What you mentioned now.
What is the fifth offense?
To consider the glories of attributed holy name to be exaggerations or वो.
See, one is to you to assume कि क्या बस हरि नाम से भक्ति मिल जाएगी, प्रभु का प्रेम मिल जाएगा. That is an offense in that regard. Now, to give different interpretation to the holy name, that is a sixth offense. These two are different actions. Nah? Now, I am giving a different meaning to the holy name, different than what we have received in parampara. I am concocting some meaning. That is aparadh. The holy names of the Lord means service to the Lord, as we have received in parampara. That should be the meaning. That is an offense. That is what is highlighted. Not misconstrue or meaning of holy names as per your understanding. Fine? Yes, Riteshu.
Shruji, it's kind of
इतना क्वेश्चन तो भक्ति रसायन सिंधु में भी नहीं था. ये तो ट्रेलर चल रहा है, उसमें इतने क्वेश्चन आ गए.
काइंड ऑफ टेक्निकल क्वेश्चन कि हम लोग बोलते हैं स्पिरिचुअल सोसाइट के बारे में कि अगर कोई ब्राह्मण में मर्ज हो जाता है, so then he has done its spiritual society.
Spiritual society, okay.
Yeah. So actually मैं आया था कुछ टाइम पहले, इसमें पॉइंट आया था कि we again fall down from there also.
Not compulsory like that. There is a chances of fall down.
Yeah. So प्रभु जी, मतलब यही मुझे समझना था कि ये स्पिरिचुअल सोसाइटी वहां पे अगर कोई चला जाता है, अगर कोई ब्राह्मण में, इट्स नॉट द रियल गोल ऑफ द सोल, बट वहां पे कोई चला जाता है तो वो वापस फॉल डाउन होता है या फिर वो लिटरली उसने spiritual society के लिए.
Okay, let me tell you what the meaning of spiritual society. You understand it, which means the nature of the soul is to have, ananda. That's the goal, actually, ultimate goal. The goal of jiva is not shanti. Brahman realization is a platform of shanti. So when you have settled yourself in shanti platform, that is what is considered spiritual society now, because you have deprived yourself from the greatest opportunity of ananda. Now from here, Prabhupada makes a point, because the nature of the soul is to look for ananda, but you have got shanti. So there are all the chances that this person may fall down first, and there are all the chances the person from here go up also. But for him to go up from here, great devotees like you have to go for a walk in a Brahman Loka while chanting Hare Krishna and pick up the souls from there, something like that. So that's how it happens. Okay. We have some hands up. Yes, our Bluish gang. अभी आप लोग के चमकते हुए चेहरे नजर आ रहे हैं. थोड़ा ढंग से कैमरा करके बैठा करो ना यार, दिखाई दे.
Rosie, the question
wait. I need to change the speaker here. Yes.
Rosie, the question is that
increase the volume there. Can you speak, Prashant Prabhu?
Yes, Rosie. Hare Krishna.
Speaker enable करो ना वहाँ पर. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. The connection is going from that laptop. Yes, speak up again, Prashant.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
आपका वॉल्यूम फुल करिए ना स्पीकर का.
Hare Krishna.
Prashant, will speak up here. I'm set it on my own.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Yeah. So, if Prabhuji, someone is doing some professional duty and earning money, and he is using every single penny in the service of Lord. So can it be considered as pure devotional service? Let's say he is doing agriculture or so anything. And Prabhuji, you are not audible.
What do you mean by that? He's using every penny in the service of the Lord.
Let's say he is giving everything to the temple, and whatever he is getting from the temple, he is surviving on that. So
Oh,
can it,
yes.
but he is doing.
It's still not a pure devotional service, but is on the way to pure devotional service. It in true sense is called as karma yoga. Because everything you're doing it for the pleasure of the Lord now. You're giving the fruits, not the pleasure of the Lord, you're giving the fruits of your result in the service of the Lord. That's a karma yoga. But it's on the way of becoming a bhakti yoga, because with that you're pleasing your guru also.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Okay, that's it. All right. Yes, Mother Medhavni, you have hand up. And then Mother Chintamani, I don't know if she has a question or. Yes, go ahead, Mother Medhavni.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Danat Pranam. Thank you for the very wonderful session, Prabhu. Prabhu, the point is mentioned here, that point is a pure devotee is so much absorbed in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. It is no time to think of any benefit beyond his immediate engagement. Right? One is, of course, we are not pure devotees, at least I can say for myself. So one is, I'm not a pure devotee. Second is, no time to think of any benefit beyond his immediate engagement. Generally, we plan so that we can please our guru. Na? And it is also, and the definition of a pure devotee.
When we are not a pure devotee, then the rest of the question doesn't hold true. Why are you bringing the second part of it to yourself?
Just for theoretical understanding, Prabhu.
No, there is no theoretical understanding in this. When such subject matter comes, Madana, we should just not take it up and apply for ourselves everything. And then, it becomes analysis, paralysis by analysis.
Okay.
Don't do that, Karke. When you are yourself is contradicting the first statement that I'm not a pure devotee, then second statement doesn't hold true for you. But it's a question of theoretical discussion there.
But Prabhu,
at our level, what we can apply, we should understand. At our level, what you're doing is okay. And then when you see things are given to us, things are not grabbed. So when we are there at the level, Krishna wants to award certain level of consciousness, award us, and then we'll function accordingly to that level of consciousness. So I'm not trying to speak at this point of time about the actions or behavior of pure devotee in terms of how to see in our life. Well, when we are not, how can we see it in our life? Okay?
No, Prabhu, I was actually drawing a parallel from Prabhupada Leelamrit. I think Prabhupada Leelamrit or somewhere in the past tense of Prabhupada, the same question I think I asked before also.
Yeah,
Tamil Krishna
Srila Prabhupada, in the case of Prabhupada as manager, organizer, he had to come down from the stage of Uttamadhikari to Madhyamadhikari.
No, Prabhu, that's not the question, Prabhu. Prabhu, let me ask the question. So, Prabhu, I'm asking, a pure devotee exceeds the expectation of the Lord and the spiritual master. Is that right?
Okay.
Right? So, here when we are saying a pure devotee has no time to think of any benefit beyond his immediate engagement, that means is it that a pure devotee does what is told to him, or the pure devotee tries to do more in terms of exceeding the expectations? Because a pure devotee cannot go wrong, right? We can go wrong as sadhaka bhaktas. We try to please our spiritual master by doing something extra, and that sometimes may go in the opposite direction, right? That cause the spiritual master may become irate or something like that. But in the case of a pure devotee, it will never happen, right? Is that the right understanding? Because pure devotee knows the heart of the Lord. Pure devotee knows the heart of his or her spiritual master. So cannot go wrong in exceeding the expectations of the spiritual master. So how does it state here that satisfied by simply doing the immediate engagement? Then where is the question of exceeding the expectation? That is a question.
That's a question for me also. I only know how much is written. I don't know beyond that. All right.
Prabhu, see, like the way you have summarized in that slide, right? Your understanding is definitely much, much more than what we can comprehend. That's the reason I'm asking you to kindly help me
understand. Understanding I could have it about my own practice at the stage of sadhaka, but now going to the stage of the pure devotee or pure devotion service, I can only say what is written because I don't have an experience of it. So your question about what do I say? Because I don't know.
Okay,
I can
Prabhu,
only
one
say
more question
what
is,
is
yeah,
what is written there.
fine, Prabhu. Prabhu, at a sadhaka level, I have a question, Prabhu. So here, in a sadhaka level, while we have this problem, right? I have experienced this problem a couple of times, many times, right? 2 out of 10 times, maybe it works, but 8 out of 10 times when I try to do more than what I've been instructed, it is, although it is not directly coming that, oh, you did something wrong, I at least tend to feel that, oh, in my endeavor to please my gurus, I have done something which actually backfired. But in spite of asking also, I don't get any response. So what do we understand from that?
Pray to the Lordship for common sense. All right.
Prabhu, praying for common sense is okay, but I'm asking you a very direct question, Prabhu. Do we endeavor to do more than what we are told?
I'm giving you a direct answer.
Yes, Prabhu. One more question, Prabhu.
By the mercy of Guru, we get mercy of Vaishnava. By the mercy of Vaishnava, we get the mercy of Guru. So I would say we should pray to the Lordship. Okay, so we'll have to conclude here.
Prabhu, one last thing, related question, Prabhu. Only 1 second. One short question. So, does a sadhaka aspire to endeavor to do more than what is instructed, or just do what is instructed in the stage of a sadhaka?
First, do what has been instructed properly. And when we have become seasoned in doing things properly, then when we can be, with little sense of understanding of the personality whom we are serving, then only we can go beyond the limits. But in our excitement, Ussaha Mahi stage, trying to do many things without having a sense of our own personality, needs, and also the devotee who we are trying to serve, on the name of service, we end up doing disservice. So before we do this trying to do more things than what has been asked to do, first of all, we have to ask a question. Do I really know? Does this require or not? How much I have and how long have I served with the devotee, that I understand how does this devotee functions? What are the needs of the devotees, like that?
Prabhu, I think I understand.
For example, you have a daughter, you have your kids. You have been taking care of the kids for long. So you know that with this item, although my daughter might have asked this item, but this item, if I give this item also along with this, she'd be happy, because I know with the past experience. Without having an experience, then what's the point over here? Okay. So with that,
experience comes with trying, na Prabhu. How will we get the experience? By doing it only we'll get the experience, na?
By praying to the Lord for common sense.
Okay,
all right.
Pray for it now. 3 times instruction. And I would request you also, Prabhu, my Shiksha Guru, to bless me with common sense. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
No, I mean, it's a big thing, actually. We all need to have, because sometimes we become so childish now in our innocent desire to serve. So common sense is not a joke, actually. It's a serious thing. We should ask, if you look at when we go out in the office, how conscious, at times while dealing with people, we use sometimes common sense, but in devotees, sometimes we become childish. So that's the point I'm making. Not in a joking way, but we all need to ask for that. Give me that intelligence so that I do things properly. That's what I meant by common sense.